Hello there. So today I'm gonna talk about what is new in the October 5th update for the PSO2 New Genesis weapon series for every weapon series now because by the way, plus 60 grind, if you unlock it, if you limit break it for the low rarity weapons, it actually makes those weapons really close to even the latest 6-star weapon series, or literally can actually fight toe to toe to even the Kaiser series. Like that's actually insane. And some of them are actually even higher than the amounts of Kaiser katana, the Kaiser weapon series, Mark 1. Basically means that you don't really need to actually get the Mark 1 weapon at all, contrary to a lot of people's belief. If you don't really want to farm the Kaiser weapon, by the way, or if you still haven't get the rugged weapon series at all, or you haven't even get the new Obsidia weapon series as well, you might as well just, take the 6-star weapons, like for example, the Codex and the Evil Orbit series, and just grind them up to plus 60 and unlock their level 5 potential. Because, by the way, the level 5 potential is actually very powerful, as it actually increases 1% of potency, 1 more percent of potency, but it also increases the effects of the potent potential as well. So, for example, for the Codex weapon, it's now probably the best defensive weapon now because it actually gives you 26% potency without any strings attached, but it also allows you to get a barrier as long as your HP percentage is above 90% at level 5 potential, which is really great because if you are a HP, if you are a person who actually builds a HP build, for example, if your HP is actually a very high amount of HP, like for example 2000 HP and above, you can actually benefit from maintaining your HP above 90% using this weapon. And you'll be actually able to keep your barrier, and you'll be able to avoid the knockback and the damage that's taken by 40% by just having to maintain your HP above 90%. And I believe this is actually just allowing the tank builds being actually a possible to be very competent as a tank build as well with this extra damage that is actually gotten from the plus 60 grind. Of course, the Evil Orbit weapon is also very powerful as well because it's the highest amount of base attack that is not 7 stars, and it's able to plus 25%. So yeah, of course, it's a no-brainer that the Evil Orbit series is going to be much more stronger and probably even more stronger than the Rocks weapon sometimes. And if you wanted to go into specifics as well, I believe the Xivia series is also very powerful now, and that's very funny because the Xivia series is actually like the second the 2-star weapon series that is actually giving you 29% potency without any strings attached. And by the way, if you add up this percentage, you'll be fighting toe to toe with the base attack of a Kaiser weapon series. Because if you were to add this potency amount of 29% into this 524, you actually get above 671. And that means you're actually fighting toe to toe with a Kaiser series without any, potential bonuses. So, but of course, the 7-star series is still going to be much more powerful because it's starting with this amount. So, of course, their potency amount is they always going to get the potential bonuses from this 17% here and the critical hit rate from here as well. However, if you still haven't gotten all these 7-star weapons, rejoice now because your older weapon series, if you're a veteran player, by the way, if you have your Synchron weapons, if you have your Kukurosiat weapons, if you have your older Straga weapons, by the way, give 31%. But I don't really suggest you to do that because it's only like 510, but it's still usable now. Your Evo Code series, by the way, is like the highest photon blast gauge charger weapon now because it allows you to plus 40% with this weapon now at level 5 potential. So it's pretty insane, to be honest. And of course, the same thing goes for all the Forces weapons, the Troy series, and the Renaissance series. And by the way, I'm currently trying out the Troy series and the Theseus series, and because their offensive formation and the defensive formation potentials is actually pretty insane, not to mention that you have the same potential as the Stevia series, you are also able to add on the 23% potency. And not just that, by the way, you can get your critical rate increase up to 27%, scaling by your attack amount and scaling by your defense amount if you are using the Theseus series, which is the defensive formation, by the way. And it's just insane because, by the way, if you do the calculation on this, if you are able to hit your critical hit rate like all the time, and if you have a Termina 5 weapon of the Troy series or the Theseus series of this weapon, you'll be hitting critical hits all the time. If you are especially if you are braver, by the way. If you add on the add-on skills from the braver, and if you to use the Troy weapon, you probably sometimes going to be able to hit higher than the Kaiser weapon series, by the way. This is by calculation, of course, and by the best case scenario, of course, when you are able to hit the 70, you get able to hit like close to 100% of the variance of your damage, which is literally insane because this weapon series is currently selling like a lot in the personal in our personal shops because when there is a Termina 5 attached to it, it actually increases your critical hit damage up to 15%. So this weapon series is going to allow you to hit that critical hit a lot for the most of the time, able to hit that critical hit amount, and you'll be dealing like insane amount of DPS by just using this weapon. Because not only that it is not a 7-star weapon, it actually allows you to hit above 70%, which means there's only like a 30% gap from 100%. And if you are managed to hit the 100%, sometimes you'll be dealing like insane amount of DPS that even enemies in rank 4 zones, by the way, which are level 60, they just melt very, very easily using this weapon against them. So even bosses, by the way, I can literally down bosses so quickly with this weapon that is just a no-brainer for anybody who owns a Termina 5 um, Termina 5 weapon preset on this weapon series to not actually build one to just find out how fun it is to actually having a very, very high amount of quick hit rate, by the way. So the new plus 60 weapon grind and the new plus level 5 potential unlock is not a joke. And I suggest everybody to try to experiment with all of this to find out which is the best weapon for you to play. Tank players go for the defensive weapon series like the Fortress potentials or the Fortis weapons. You can just experiment with them. Or if you can go for the Codex weapon if you want to get a very, very good barrier, that is very, very easy to maintain. People who wanted to charge up their Proton Blast, they can just use the Evo Code weapon series because it will just provide you plus 40% on level 5, which is pretty insane, but the damage will be not that high. People who wanted to fight in the Geometric Labyrinth and wanted to get that insane amount of boost should just stick with the Kukurozet weapon because you can get an extra 33% potency increase inside the Geometric Labyrinth. Not to mention, you also get the 50% damage resistance as well, and you are also dealing damage in the middle of 25% variance. So it's a very, very powerful weapon inside the Geometric Labyrinth that I don't really think people can just skip, especially if you're doing Geometric Labyrinth all the time on all classes. I suggest you to probably build a Kukurozet weapon just for you to actually do well inside the Geometric Labyrinth. And of course, if you have other weapon series, you can also use them. For example, maybe the Secto series is still pretty good if you wanted to fight against enemies, and the Grega series is probably going to deal extra 31% against bosses. However, you have to take note that their potency is also reduced, and it's not that high because they know that the level 5 potential is actually very strong. That's why they nerf their damage. So it actually, I'm really, really glad that Sega actually take a step and try to, boost up all these older weapons, as all this potential actually allows all the players choices on what kind of weapon, what kind of style they wanted to play, and they'll be not so behind the 7-star series at all. And once they are able to find a 7-star series, then they can just probably just upgrade to it, because the rugged weapons is still the strongest weapon series out of everything. So yeah, take all of this by the take all of this information by what you will and enjoy the game like never before in this new update. This is basically like a game changer for a lot of classes, because certain classes is going to benefit from these potentials much more than others. So just keep experimenting and just enjoy yourselves. Sayonara.